So is Mulcharmy Meows actually worth playing? Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more content. We have a side deck discussion for you today. This actually was asked in my comment section by somebody who was like, "Hey Robbie, why are we playing, why are we playing Mulcharmy over, something like Lancea? Well, what's the point in this?" So I'm going to phrase this very, very, very as well as I can, actually. But first of all, check our friends at Kong's Cards and Gamer's Choice. Discount code MCO40 will save you on picking up that Mulcharmy that you're going to want out here. So, the big context for this Mulcharmy is its use versus Malice. Now, the first thing that you've got to understand out here is which deck are we going to be looking at here to be using the Mulcharmy versus Malice. Now, in most matchups, I'm going to be straight up and honest with you here. I think that you are probably going to want Lancea for a majority of these, especially in the mirror match. I'm going to want Lancea because I can artifact. This also comes down to how much dedication are we playing for the Scythe package? Are we going full Sanctum? Are we going, triple tack? Are thrusting into the, how much are we choosing to play with this? Because, you could just go 3 Lancea, call it a day, or you can go 3 Lancea, Sanctum, call it a day. You can go 3 Lancea, Sanctum, double thrust as well. And then, if you're putting in the thrust now opens up another door to, you can play the Dimensional Barrier, you can play the Destructive Daruma Cannon as well for cleanup. So you're building on each level here. On the base floor, it's just this, and then we go up to the Sanctum, then we go up to the Thrust, and then since we've locked into the Thrust now, you're getting more of a spin out from there. So that's your base argument for or at least the first list of cards and that interaction. So, Robbie, you haven't answered the question, which Mulcharmy do we want to do this? Okay, so the one time that I think of the Mulcharmy is going to matter is going to be decks like Tenpai or Rizal. Now, you're probably like, Robbie, but Rizal's already playing Lancea. They're already, choosing to play, the Sanctum, the Thrust. Why would they want to choose to play a Meowls or Meowls in the deck as well? So on the Tenpai thing here. Tenpai wants to draw cards. I've seen most Tenpai lists that have been triple Fool Wars. I've seen triple Purulia, and I've actually seen triple Meowls. I've seen some hard committed fans out here just being like, oh, hey, we can play. There's nothing stopping you from wanting to play 9 Mulcharmies. Nothing. All right, but you've got to remember the whole interaction here is for the matchup for Malice, and you don't want to overcommit too much. But a deck like Tenpai wants to draw their cards. They want to use all these cards, and obviously Meowls is going to be better than Purulia in that matchup. Is anybody actually going to question that Meowls is 100% the better Mulcharmy against them? Nobody wants to argue that. But what we have seen out here has been kind of the argument that I really have liked about the Mulcharmies, and it has been the triple Fua, the 2 Purulia, the 1 Meowls on your Mulcharmy lineup. Okay, so there are a lot of lists right now that'll just main deck the triple Fool Wasp. And then, you'll see, the Purulias coming into the side deck most of the time. And then you'll see, the OCG was always experimenting around with the idea of, okay, if we're going to play Purulia, we're either going triple Purulia or we're going to go 2-1. Which, I think that is the correct way to truly go about this. I'm personally not wanting to rush out and play Tenpai with triple of each Mulcharmy. That just sounds freaking awful to me. That is freaking abysmal. No thank you. I'm not in the mood for that. But when you start to look at even a 3-2-2 line with the 2 Perulia, the 2 Meowls is actually not awful either. I have definitely seen a lot of good scenarios with that as well. But if you are truly like scraping by on the deck room, Lancea is going to be the better call. But if you're doing kind of what I'm doing right now, where I'm main decking Triple Fua, 1 Perulia, and I've got the other 2 Perulias in the side, but I'm already main decking the Lance, or I've got the Lanceas in the side right now. I will probably sub out the extra Perulia for the one of Meowls just to be able to play it. Because there's the one big thing I've learned with the Lancea is a hard, it stops the turn. That's its purpose. It puts the turn stop here, but you've also got to remember the Mulcharmies act in this way that, you know, if your opponent, you know, sometimes you just need to have cards to go find the other cards. And this is actually something that I've been telling. I'm not trying to gatekeep Rizal or anything out here, but I've had a lot of people show me a lot of their Rizal list. And a lot of people have been like, hey, you know, like, what's your opinion on this? You know, I don't have Mulcharmies. And I was like, as much as you're not going to like me saying this to you, I would not touch Rizal without the Mulcharmies. You can have success with it, yes, but the problem with that whole thing is there have just been way too many games. Two major things here, and this is on the Meowls discussion here too. There are way too many times that you have to play a Mulcharmy to sculpt your hand. You're going to have to let your opponent give you 1 to 2 cards to find either another hand trap or to make your hand playable. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Those hands do exist, and they really, really, really are important. That's why, you know, like, the Meowls kind of comes into play out here, because the Meowls can find you into the Lancea, and then that Lancea gets that turn stop going for you. And that's very, very, very important. But also on the same thing out here, though, you know, if you deploy a Mulcharmy, your opponent ashes it, you have another Mulcharmy, you can still sculpt your hand and build it. And that has been one of the most insane things that I have learned about this deck, is not only having it act as another level 4 that you can normal summon and combo off and start with, but gosh darn it, man, there are just so many times that you have to, your hand is like, what, like Thrust, Desires, Cross, and Node. Those are the worst cards I can think of. And then you see the Mulcharmy, you're like, okay, so if we Mulcharmy here, you know, like, we can draw into a hand trap, maybe a starter. Depends on how much commitment your opponent wants to give you. And that's, you know, once again, the thing you're looking at out here with Mulcharmy Meows. You've got to think about it as, you're not going to maximize on 3 of it. Nobody. Like I said, there was a very early Tenpai build that was doing it, but no. Meows, at most, you're going to play 1 to 2 copies of it in combination with the other Mulcharmies. And its purpose is going to be to find you into things like Lancea so that you can stop your opponent from advancing the game state. That is all that you are going to be doing with that. And I really do hope that you, looking at numbers, understanding things, you know, understanding that Lancea is the better choice depending on the matchup. Very important. Especially, you know, you're going to have to make the call. I'm not going to go down every matchup because I don't know every matchup to do this. But in terms of, you know, having the partner next to you and that partner actually being the Mulcharmy to filter you into the draw cards to get you into the power cards, that's what you got to be thinking about why you're playing the Meowls in the first place. But it's also depending on, are you playing Mulcharmies or board breakers? That's a completely other discussion for another day. It's like, what other cards are you complementing? And that's why when we talk about the Lancea thing here, you know, we're going into the Sanctum, you're going into the Thrust, you know, you're escalating up that tree of ideas here that are present that you have to think about, hey, you know, these are the options that we have working for us. So, I don't know. I don't talk a lot about side decking. I have my viewpoints. Other people have their opinions on how to play this game, and that's fine. But I hope that answered the question of the Lancea versus the Mulcharmy Meows, and, you know, kind of how they can work together to help you guys out. You guys have a good rest of your day, all right? Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.